Brooklyn Center man pleads guilty to insurance fraud after staging a politically motivated arson attack. According to court documents, Mallah submitted multiple insurance claims seeking coverage for the damage to his garage, camper, vehicles, and residence. When the company denied the claims, he submitted a complaint. Mallah also created and allowed others to create multiple GoFundMe accounts to benefit him and his family. He submitted more than $300,000 in fraudulent insurance claims, got $61K from his insurance company, and $17,000 from donors via GoFundMe. He has now pleaded guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. Sentencing will happen at a later time. Let's go back and look at how Ben Shapiro and Laura Ingraham talked about this particular incident at the time.
There's a story out of Minnesota that began to get some traction today, and it was very disturbing. And this was a homeowners who woke up to find that their garage basically was on fire.
Did they really?
Burned down. They had a Trump flag or poster up, and had been burned. And then Biden 2020 graffiti and the Antifa symbol. And this is Minnesota nice. There's a message being sent, Ben, by the far left.
Right.
And I think people are beginning to see that arsonist behavior, looting, even murder, none of it's off the table.
Right.
Well, the fact is, again,
by the way, murder, what are you talking about?
Generic statements about violence and looting being bad are not going to cut it. We all know that if this were right-wingers who were performing this kind of violence, Joe Biden would be out there on the front lines proclaiming that right-wing ideology was innately linked to violence and cruelty. But as soon as it is left-wingers in his coalition who are out there harassing people at restaurants or burning things down or perhaps shooting police officers, as we saw in Louisville last night, well, then the movement that they are linked to, the broader ideological movement they are linked to, he refuses to condemn.
Ben Shapiro got one thing right. If this was linked to right-wing ideology, there would be a leftist snowflake here to condemn them and tell them that, this is linked to right-wing cruelty. Except for the person who was doing it was being cruel to themselves and to every other Republican who was suckered into actually donating to his GoFundMe campaign by people like Ben Shapiro. It turns out that when you don't do the research and you can trust every single thing that someone says just because they yell BLM and oh my gosh, it turns out that you can get suckered into believing things that aren't true. Go figure. It's almost like they did this to themselves.